first education commission after independence was the Kothari Commission. And while presenting the report of the Education Commission, the Kothari Commission report, this is what Professor D.S. Kothari had said. In 1966, that was. 50 years ago, we did not have much of private higher education as we currently have. And when we were doing the numbers for the 12th five-year plan, we realized that Indian higher education is predominantly a private higher education system. About 60% of enrollment in Indian higher education is in the private sector. And it is therefore imperative for the government to engage with the private sector, to understand what are the issues and challenges faced by the private sector, to see that how the private sector capacity can be used to address some of the pressing challenges that the country faces. We are a planned economy, and every 5 years we go through this process of creating a plan, a 5-year plan for the nation for different sectors. For 2012-17, this plan was finalized and approved in December 2012. And then it was approved by a committee which is called the National Development Council, which is chaired by the Prime Minister of the country, with all cabinet ministers and chief ministers of different states, who are members of the National Development Council. So it becomes a powerful policy instrument for guiding future of the country in various sectors of development, primarily focused on central investment plan in different sectors. And when we were doing this plan, we felt that we need to align our policies to what the future of education would look like. The rest of my brief presentation, I'll give you a sense of what is there in the 12th plan and how we need to address these challenges. Let me say that these plans, though primarily focused on central government investment in different sectors, but they also become in many ways guiding principles of what state governments do in their respective jurisdictions. And in India, Indian higher education, IITs and the National Institutes of Technology and the central universities, the central institutions per se, they form a very small part of the overall higher education enrollment. It is less than 3%. Around 38% of the enrollment comes from state universities and colleges, and rest of it, as I mentioned before, is the private sector enrollment, which is a dominant which has a dominant share in terms of contributing to the growth of higher education over the past 5 years. Let us look at the growth of institutions and enrollment, and it is very clear that over the past decade or so, India has witnessed an exponential growth in both institutions and enrollment. There is a slowing down of growth, in terms of number of institutions. And this is data up to 2011-12. It has further slowed down in 12-13, and this trend is likely to continue. The challenges that we face in higher education continue to be, as there are improvements in school education, there will be pressure for more people to get enrolled in higher education, and we have to continue to cater to that need. But at the same time, we need also to see that students, families, who are not able to send their children to higher education institutions, there are institutions created for them either for reasons of affordability or for reasons of merit. And third issue that we face is a more serious issue, and that is the issue of the quality of higher education. I think the public confidence in the value of degree is getting eroded. And that is the central concern that we need to address, because we've seen that as the system of higher education expands, many of the people who earlier were not able to access higher education, they are able to get access. So equity concerns continue to get addressed. And much of the expansion in the past, at least past 5 years, has happened in the private sector. Like in India, they also have the problems of skill mismatches which need to be addressed. Let us understand that higher education is very closely linked with the aspirations of the people. And when the aspirations of people grow exponentially, particularly in response to changes in social attitudes and mass media, and the labor market does not change, these gaps and the gap between the aspiration-led demand, the social demand and the labor market demand keeps increasing, and which is potentially dangerous for societies if the aspiration and labor market demand gap becomes too much. And the public policy has to see that how the capacities are aligned to the labor market demand, or new demand for graduates is created. At the heart of the higher education system, a much larger ecosystem will have to be of more vocationally oriented institutions that cater to the needs of the students and also to the labor market. What we basically are trying to do is address all the three challenges of expansion, equity, and excellence in a comprehensive manner by sustainable funding arrangements and by addressing the governance deficits in the sector. And then outcome is expanded availability of higher education opportunities, narrowing group inequalities, and improved teaching and research across institutions. So the key leverage points, again, these are the key thrust areas that have been identified in the plan document, all aimed at raising the bar for the quality of higher education and closing the gap between the top tier institutions and institutions which are second tier or third tier institutions. In the 11th plan, the government of India had spent around 40,000 crore. This is being increased to 110,000 crore in the next 5 years. So this is about investment plan, but more importantly, as we move forward, we will continue to see a private sector-led growth, with the public sector playing a complementary role and catering in those areas where the private sector will not autonomously come in. And that is in the areas of high-end research. And I'm pleased to say that even some of the private institutions are getting into that space of high-end research, but predominantly it will have to be catered to by the public institutions. And the focus will have to be that how do we regulate the private sector better in the coming decades. Both public and the private sector grows in a complementary, harmonious way so that we can address the challenges that the country faces. So I'll stop here. Thank you.